Nelly Otari here. This is Chat with Nelly podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here again. If you are just listening uh, to the podcast for the very first time, welcome. If you're a returning listener, yay, you're welcome. I'm happy to have you here again. And it means that you're taking this trip to Friendship Town very seriously. For our very first listeners, was where we talked about it in our intro episode that we are and still like we were and still are buying a one-way ticket to Friendship Town because that's what we'll be talking about for a while. And in the last episode, we talked about the question, who is a friend? And we were able to see who a friend is. I would have said I should give a little spoiler alert, but no, I want you to go listen to the other episodes if you really want to know who a friend is. Today, as you're here, we are going to be talking about friendship with oneself. And I chose to talk about this before we dive into other aspects of friendship because I believe that before we can truly give or receive genuine friendships, from others or to others, we must first understand how to be friends with ourselves. And I know you're probably wondering, what do you mean, friends with oneself? But yes, there is something called friendship with oneself. And it would interest you to know that there are persons that don't even like themselves. They don't like how they look, how they sound, how they do things. They always critique themselves so bad that it makes them just hate themselves or drops their self-esteem to like the lowest bar just because they feel like there's something wrong somewhere. However, today we'll be seeing that no, friendship with yourself is absolutely important and it's something that we should consider. Friendship with oneself is practice of treating yourself with the same love, kindness, and respect that you extend to others. It means that you recognize your worth, you show yourself grace when you fall short or make a mistake, and then you nurture your personal growth. You see that I chose the word nurture because nurturing means you guide and you guard. When you see someone who is a plant lover, they nurture their plant to blossom. A farmer would plant a seed and nurture it to become a tree that will bear fruits. Okay, so they are watering, they are adding manure or fertilizer, they're doing things here and there to make sure that the seed survives. That's what friendship with oneself means. Treating yourself with the same love, kindness, and respect that you would extend to others. The Bible, and I know that I always go back to the Bible, but it's a really complete book. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. It didn't say more than yourself. It didn't say less than yourself. It said as yourself. So it means that the Bible also recognizes that we need to love ourselves. And that means friendship with yourself. You know, too often people critique themselves so badly, like so harshly. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that we do not need to, give ourselves self appraisals and be able to say the truth to ourselves when we do something wrong or make a mistake. However, we shouldn't magnify our failures, right? When we do that, we minimize our strengths because whether we like it or not, there is something that you're really, really, really good at. The other person may suck at. And then there's something that you may be sucking at, and someone is making strides and waves with it. That's just the circle of life. There's nothing you can do about it. All we pray to be able to do is to be decent at everything we lay our hands on. But we all know that there's that particular one, two, maybe three things that you're really good at. Those are your strengths, and you should magnify those and not magnify your failures, because we are talking about friendship with oneself. So when we do this, it would help us to be a good friend to another person. We will not drag them down or rub their faces in mistakes that they make, because we're already practicing how to not critique ourselves so harshly, right? You'll be able to encourage, you'll be able to uplift, you'll be able to guide with patience, because you're already doing that to yourself, right? You'll be able to show compassion because you're already showing that to yourself. If you're a very harsh critic of yourself, you may not be able to show compassion to the next person, because you're like, what do you mean? Because in my own head, I'm like, this thing you're doing, I cannot do it because, I critique myself so badly. So it is important that we understand that it is good to see yourself as valuable and worthy of love, and that's when you can now extend that authentic love to another person outside. If you do not love yourself, it will be hard. You'll be forcing friendships. So we need to understand that self-hatred or neglect cannot produce healthy relationships or friendships, as we're talking about. And remember that our aim, for a couple of episodes, is to help us become better friends, help us to be in and initiate like healthy friendships, not toxic ones that cause us heartache and headaches. What can we do to cultivate friendship with ourselves? Positive self-affirmation. People underrate this affirmation thing so much. It is very powerful. Words are powerful. I know that there's a saying that action speaks louder than words, but affirmations are very great and very, what's the right word now? Influencing. When you replace destructive self-talk with words of encouragement and speak life over yourself, just the way God will speak life over you, there would be changes with how you think and how you see things. Okay? If you tell somebody that they are a failure for 1,000 times, or you tell them that they are a failure every day for 365 days, I bet you the next 365 days, even though you don't say it, they are going to think that they are failures, or that person is going to think that he or she is a failure, just because they've heard it so many times and that's sad. So positive self-affirmation is great. If you need to write it on sticky notes and put on your mirror, that's fine. If you need to put it on your fridge, that's fine. Put it somewhere you will always see it every day. And I bet you it's going to help with any negative thoughts that you have. Is it going to be like magic? Maybe when you just do it today, it's going to work and voila, all the thoughts are totally gone. No, we're not talking magic here on the podcast. We're talking about practical steps. And positive affirmations is one of them. One day at a time, positive self-affirmation. Then rest and care. It is good that you work and that you're not lazy and you're hardworking and diligent. But then the body needs to rest. The body needs to rest. So just as a friend, we encourage you to take care of yourself and your health. You must practice self-care. You must put your health at a bar of importance, right? your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your psychological health, everything that makes you whole, that makes you you. Guard it with all of your strength. So please rest and care for your body. Eat good food. Sleep when you should. Um, take fruits, take vegetables, take the right amount of baths in a day, and all of that. Rest and care for yourself. That way you can care for others, encourage them to have rest too, because you'll be speaking from experience. Set boundaries. I know you're wondering, how is this a friendship for oneself? Well, yes, set boundaries, oh please. Be able to guard your space. Protect what matters. Set healthy boundaries that will safeguard your peace and purpose, meaning that you need to be able to know what you want, when you want it, how you want it. I have a friend who can be that articulate. I don't know if you want me to mention the name on the podcast, so I'm just going to leave it. But she, when she like comes for something, she can have like goals written down to the tiniest bit of detail. And I admire that about her because, I mean, it helps you to set really healthy and relevant boundaries. You know what you want, so you're not going to like settle for less. So don't allow toxicity into your space. Don't allow people who talk you down into your space. Remember, you are being friends with yourself. You're caring for yourself. You're loving yourself as you would love your neighbor. And I know that as you listen to me, you do not want to be put down. So please set healthy boundaries. Don't allow any nook, like, I don't say nook, I'm going to say nook and cranny. Pardon me. But don't let any Tom, Harry, Dick, uh, Matthew, like, don't just allow anybody into your life. Please set healthy boundaries. Do not allow people to take you for a ride and make you feel less of yourself. Set healthy boundaries. Celebrate progress. Do not wait for others to applaud you. Celebrate your progress. If you did 10 push ups today and tomorrow you did 20, celebrate progress. That's progress. That's a whole lot of progress. Even if it's 15, you did the next day. 10 and 15, one is higher. And so celebrate progress. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how small they are. And be grateful for growth. Be grateful to God. Be grateful for the fact that you have the ability to actually work at something and it comes out really good. So please, that's there. Then one last thing is spiritual alignment. I don't think we can talk about friendship without mentioning God. I think maybe as the episodes go by, we may look at some biblical examples of friendships and see what we can learn from it or from them. Or yes, deepen your relationship with God. He's the truest friend, and through His word and spirit, you will learn to see yourself through His eyes, redeemed, loved, and chosen. And no matter what happens or comes your way, you will never feel, casted out because you know that God is there to be your friend and you would have peace in your heart. So, we've talked about why we need to be friends with ourselves and how we can be friends with ourselves. So, are you a friend to yourself or an enemy? If you do not rest, if you do not set healthy boundaries for yourself, if you do not care for your body and yourself in general, if peradventure you do not celebrate your progress and you're not spiritually aligned, you don't give yourself any affirmation, instead, you talk yourself down by yourself, then you are becoming an enemy to yourself and you need to retrace your steps. Okay? Take time to reflect on how you treat your close friends. Do you extend that same patience and encouragement to yourself? Because some persons can be so nice to other people and then very hard on themselves. I used to be like that. I would give people the longest of ropes and give them the benefit of the doubt. But in my head, internally, I would be like, no, Nelly, what? How could you have made that kind of mistake? You know? And getting older and becoming more mature, I realized that that's not like healthy because it messes with your mental uh composure. Because you're always trying, like, that makes you to now want to like second guess yourself all the time. So remember, the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay. So that means friendship with oneself is not selfishness, it is wholeness. When you learn to walk in self-compassion and love, you are better equipped to be a true friend to another person. Love your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12:31. The way you treat others, or the way you treat yourself rather, sets the standard for how you will love those around you. Yes, it sets a standard. So I hope that you are going to decide to be a friend to yourself and not an enemy. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Chat with Nelly podcast. Remember, you can send a mail to chatwithnellypodcast@gmail.com with a question, a suggestion, a contribution, whatever it is. I will be there to read it. Uh, Again, I'm your host, Nelly Atari, and I'm reminding you that friendship begins from the inside. Be a friend to yourself first and reflect God's love powerfully to others in a way that you never imagined. So till next time, chat with Nelly Podcast.